So today's video is about something I've sort of been struggling with a little bit recently, and it's with hesitation, specifically around projects or things I want to do, where I sort of overthink so much or I see so many possibilities for what I could do, that in that hesitation in deciding on what to do, I don't do anything, and then basically have a long stressful period where I'm not doing the thing I want to be doing, but I'm also knowing that I should be doing it, and sort of I have this frustration that I'm not doing the thing that I'm supposed to be, that I want to do. So this is what this episode is about, and I thought while I talked about it, I could unwind these skeins of yarn because it's very relevant to this idea of hesitation. One of the ways I've had this lack of doing the thing I want to be doing, and it's been really sort of causing me a lot of stress, is if you've watched my channel before, I have all of this yarn that I acquired from this Victorian like mansion sort of place, and it was all of these cones of yarn, all in 4-ply or light fingering weight yarn. And essentially at that point I had never done a project in just sort of 4-ply. I've never done any colour work that required it, but I wanted to have all this yarn because it was a very good price and I wanted to save it all and be able to use it for coming projects. And so I've had it for a long time, or probably be about a year, and I was just carting it round wherever I went. So when I was in the Midlands, I had it there and it was taking up a lot of space, and then I came to Edinburgh and I brought a lot of it with me and it was taking up a lot of space and I wasn't using it, any of it. I did find a project that I could use it with, which was the Magda jumper, but I still had so much and I just didn't have any idea what to do with it, in terms of or rather, I couldn't decide what to do with it. So I had all of these different projects that I could use it for, all these different jumpers that were all colour work, but I wasn't using them because I could use an endless combination of all those yarns. So then I didn't know what project was best, and then I would pick some projects that I really liked and I would draw out all of these different colour combinations I could do for the projects, and then I couldn't decide which one I thought would be the most wearable, which one I would love the most. I didn't want to knit something that I didn't completely love with this yarn, so I was sort of stuck in that sense as well. And then I thought, well, maybe I've got more DK weight patterns that I could do, so maybe I could just hold some of them double, and then that would be DK weight yarn. But then I didn't think I had enough of the yarn to do that project in particular, so maybe I could do something else. And basically I just had all these endless possibilities that I was in that hesitation in not just doing it. I was completely stuck, and basically what I found was I came back from Mexico and I was just looking at projects constantly, looking at all my yarn constantly and just not knowing what to do with it. And I found it the same with exercise. I had a period of my life where I was very consistent with exercise and I really was having such a good time and I was getting so much stronger. And then you stop, as you do, and when you get back to it you're not as consistent, and it could be for a variety of reasons. But one of the reasons I found for why I wasn't exercising was because I just couldn't be bothered to change into exercise clothes to then do a routine. Or, my legs were feeling a bit sore, so I didn't want to do my legs that day, so I wanted to do arms, but then arms I'd done recently, so then they would be tired, and it's just, you just get stuck in this cycle of sort of overthinking and not actually doing the thing. And it's like that with other things, like in some ways with my YouTube and with the projects around YouTube. It's like if I didn't get the perfect photo or the perfect video, I don't do the thing because that thing wasn't perfect, it wasn't the way I thought it was. maybe I could get a different video or a different version of it. But then I don't do that because I overthink it again, and then I don't do it again, and then I'm left in the same sort of realm. And I think perhaps it's because I'm at a very funny time in my life where it's my birthday coming up and I'm turning 30. So that's sort of like a big milestone. I've done all this travelling, and I love travelling, and I would really want to do more of it, but I also want a base of some sort. And sort of every year that has gone by, I thought that I would have a base, or I would have a bit more sort of stability, and then I'd be able to travel with it. But it's another year has come and gone, and I'm sort of back in Edinburgh again from day one. It's starting all over again. And then also it's like the new year, so then you think about everything that you did that past year, and you think of like your regrets, but also the things that you really appreciated. And then suddenly you have a whole nother year ahead of you that you're going to fill up, and that you think like, I've got so much I want to do. And there's so much I want to do this year. I want to try and be quite ambitious and do a lot. But at the same time, sort of in order to do a lot, you need to be doing a lot. And I find myself ruminating and hesitating constantly. And so I came to the conclusion I'm about to come to, which has helped me massively, which was the only way out of it is action. And I think I have to get out of this process of just thinking about something and whether it's the right thing and whether that's the right possibility or whether I could go for a different one. And I think you just have to do. You just have to take action. And the example I have of this is that recently I made a shawl, the Fichu blue shawl. And it was with yarn it was 4-ply yarn. I didn't know what to do with it. I had a project then planned. This was probably in May or March maybe. I had a plan for that yarn. And then that all had to be revised because I actually decided that pattern wasn't right, and I'm not sure it would have gone well. So then I was back in the beginning, not knowing what to do with this yarn. And I just thought, I didn't have a project on the needles. I'd just finished my last project. And I just thought, I've got to just do something because I want to knit, but I don't know what I want to knit. And I have all this yarn. So I took that black yarn and that mohair, and I made this shawl, and I spent about probably a week knitting it. And by the end of it, I loved the shawl. I'll actually go get it. I've been wearing it constantly. It's very simple, it's just like a textured knit. But I think just the act of doing something got me out of this slump. And since then, I've had this massive spur of doing stuff. And what I realised is, in overthinking all of these different things that I could do, I was actually sort of irrationally coming up with these beliefs that I didn't really realise until I spoke out loud, until I actually thought about it. And that was that even if I do the wrong thing, so like let's say this shawl had turned out really badly and I didn't like it at all, I really didn't lose anything during that time knitting it, because I still have this yarn. I could unravel the project and I would just be back at the beginning, except now I know I don't want the shawl of that colour, or I didn't like it with the mohair, or whatever it is. And I sort of realised that this is what it's like with all the rest of my yarn, is if I just do a project that I want to do. For example, with this grey yarn, I really want to knit the Tiri sweater by Marie Wallen. I wanted to knit it for a while. It was on my Colourworks jumper video. And the thing that's been stopping me is I thought, well, I need the perfect yarn for it. Or or I need to be doing that jumper at a time when I can dedicate loads of time to it. And maybe some of those things could be true. Maybe I'll find that when I start knitting it, I don't have much time for any other project. And I've got 2 other projects on at the moment because I've sort of realised I just need to take action. So maybe it won't go well, or maybe I'll decide that I don't actually like the use of this yarn and I needed a different colour, or maybe I won't like these colours as much as I would have liked another colour, but I probably will still like it. So I'm not losing anything, is what I'm saying. And the only way I can get out of this monotony of just overthinking is by actually just doing the thing. So I have decided to use up this yarn to cast on a project and to sort of see where that takes me, see how it goes. Likelihood is I'm gonna love it because it will be the first Marie Wallen pattern I'll do, and I love the look of that jumper so much, and I did envision wearing it in Scotland, so it's the place to be doing it. With exercise, because I said I was having that sort of problem with the exercise, is I realised I was almost putting all these obstacles in the way of why I couldn't do exercise. So, I had to change into other clothes and it's really cold in the house and, my legs hurt or blah, 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 blah. Or maybe I could come up with the perfect workout plan and then that would be really great and optimal. Or like, I didn't eat enough protein that day, so it would have been a waste to do a workout. I should do the workout tomorrow when I have a meal plan that's got lots of protein in it or whatever. And so I was having that problem. And then for that, I realised there is no reason for me to change clothes, essentially. So now, instead of thinking about it and sort of hesitating, I just work out in whatever clothes I'm wearing. And generally what I've been finding is I will start my workout and I'll get 5 minutes into it and I won't be getting sweaty, but I'll be getting hot because I'm wearing like a jumper. And then because I'm doing the thing and I'm quite enjoying it, I will then maybe change into workout clothes or I'll just continue in the normal clothes and I'll just take a layer off. And essentially it means that I've actually been a bit more consistent with my exercise because instead of letting that barrier stop me and I hesitate at it, I've been just doing it in my clothes. There's nothing really that wrong with doing it in my everyday clothes. And it's been really helping. And then in terms with like general life things, I think that's the place in which I've got to start implementing this idea of action. I really want to apply for funding to do a project, and I really want to do an artist residency this year, and I want to try and get a flexible job, and rather than just thinking about it, trying to make the perfect application or thinking like my portfolio's not good enough to apply for an artist residency, so I'll do a portfolio before I do the thing. I'm just going to apply with what I have and see where that takes me. Similarly with making artworks recently, I sort of have this image of the type of artwork I want to make, but I'm stopped because I think like I've not got the source material. Ordinarily I take photographs for paintings and then I paint them, or I do sort of sketch-ups of painting before I do it. And I've not been getting the photos that I want, and I've not been taking them, so I've not been doing art basically, and I've been sort of feeling a bit stuck, like I've not got the material I need to make work. But actually I've got plenty of material that I can sketch out. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's something that will get me moving, that will bring me forward. And also, similarly, that I can just do what I want, and if one day I want to draw something and it doesn't feel relevant to a project that I'm doing, or I want to paint something and it's it feels very random, or I want to copy something that someone else has done, I shouldn't stop myself because I'm thinking that it's not going to help me in some way. Because I think even if it doesn't help the project that I'm doing, or is not very relevant, in doing something about it, at least I'm not where I started. At least I'm not just thinking about it and actually doing something. So that's what I've been thinking about recently. This might be relevant to you. I don't know how other people sort of deal with their projects, and I mean, this is a bit more broad, I guess. But yeah, it's just something I've been sort of struggling with, and I just thought maybe you already know this, and this is just going to be a little reminder to yourself that there's nothing stopping you from doing the thing, really. Even if you do it badly, or even if you don't like the end result. There's something to be said for thinking things through, but if it's also stopping you, then at that point you need to just do it, is basically what I'm saying. Managed to wind one ball, and then I took the other colour that I'm going to do and I wound that one as well. So I've now got the means of doing the Teary Sweater by Marie Wallen, and I'm going to cast on today. I also managed to take some pictures of me and Robin's hands, because I've got an idea for some drawings and paintings that I want to do. And I had the inspiration to do some sort of hands, because I was looking at some Dura paintings, and I just thought I really want to do that. So I did it. So that was another good little action. And yeah, that's going to be it for today, I think. Otherwise it's just more knitting. And also actually I'm going to make a bit of music, because I've made 2 songs that I use for my YouTube. But I have a little section of my journal now that I've sort of put together some songs. They're very, very simple. I mean, I don't want to give the impression that I'm at all learned in music or making music. This is sort of me just knowing 2 chords well enough to sort of put them together and then building on top of it. So it's very amateur, but it is so incredibly fun, and I've really missed not being able to do it. I used to be using Robin's sister's headphones that basically have like on an aux cable, instead of the 3mm jack, 3.5mm, I needed a 6.5mm. And because her headphones are back in the Midlands, I couldn't hear back what I was making, so it just means you can't make music really. But I just bought a little adapter and it came yesterday. So I can also start making some music, so I would like to do that, so I'll probably try and do that today as well. But yeah, a good day of action. Like any reasonable adult, we've decided to make pancakes. But we're trying out a cottage cheese pancake with some raisins. Hopefully it goes well. We've been scoffing the pancakes as we make them. They were delicious. They were very good.